instance, with this stupid amp, and daisy chaining these amps, you know, with an unbalanced cable, you know, coming out of the link and going down to the next one. That there were several techs and teams that couldn't figure that out, and why, you know, we were getting radio stations and noise. I mean, me and Jim went in there, and I mean, within 45 seconds, I mean, this was ripped out, and, you know, an XLR Y cable was put in, and we were done, you know, in 3 minutes. And but I mean, this is something, you know, we wasted a lot of time, you know, because we did something wrong, you know, off the bat, and you know, we got to make sure that we think through things, you know, make sure we have the right equipment. If we don't have the right equipment, then we got to go back and you know, and not do things wrong, because then, you know, stuff like that makes us look bad, makes us look incompetent, and can you know, cause damage to systems.
And it's a pretty basic thing that if we follow the rules of balanced connections, then we don't have to send, you know, Justin's a very valuable guy in the field. You all are. I don't want to make it sound that way, but Justin shouldn't have to go in and clean up a system for something that every tech should know. That's
Yeah, I mean, and you know, all this crap comes with time, and comes with, you know, being thrown in the fire, and you know, the more we're out there, the more we're doing things, you know, the more we see things and know how to fix it. The more training we do, you know, you know, the goal is to get everybody to the next level. And
so when we hear like a buzz in a system, we should automatically be thinking there's either electrical interference or something in a balanced or unbalanced
I go
line.
wiring immediately.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, typically those are going to be your two main factors. And if you're, you know, for troubleshooting steps, if you're in, you know, whatever it is, you know, if you've got a Soundcraft mixer, like the other day when we were out doing that, you know, we could go channel by channel and mute them. You know, if you've got a buzz in the system and it's a TOA amp, I mean, it's kind of common sense. You know, you've got 8 inputs, and you know, all 8 inputs are up. If you've got a buzz in the system, I mean, what do? You start going one by one, finding out. Oh, there it is. That was the channel that gave me problems. Okay, so piano mic. Look on the back of it. Oh, well, it's on the line input. It's not on the mic input. You know, I mean, there's different things that it could be right off the bat. I mean, some troubleshooting takes a long time. Some, I mean, you just kind of got to train yourself to think that way, and you know, be able to figure things out basically right away without, you know, just looking at it. But for troubleshooting, yeah, if there's noise, you know, go step by step, and you know, input by input, by turning it down, muting it, to find out, you know, where it is, where it's coming from, and then look at the terminations, see how it's, you know, terminated, if there's any issues, and you know, if it is an electrical problem, which I've seen plenty of times, you know, something you would have to do in that situation is, you know, unplug your TOA, go get an extension cord, you know, out of the van, run it to an outlet on the other side of the room, or maybe the next room over that's not, you know, on the same circuit or the same surge protector, you know, and see where we're at. So, all right, so as far as 8 ohm and 70 volt, you know, stuff we're talking about today, does anybody have any questions regarding that, regarding how to wire any of that? Alright, I'm gonna pick on you. So,
And I'm sure we'll have questions after we see it.
yeah. So if I'm coming out 70 volt here, I'm going to a volume control to the input to the amp side.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to speaker to this speaker. That's right. Then I want to add another volume control and another speaker. If you remember how we said to wire.
You come out of that amp in here to the other volume control.
Correct. Yeah.
Alright, and then from the speaker you jump out you can go from here. And
Well,
come
not
out
if
here?
not if you want this knob to control it. You would jump out of here.
Okay.
But yeah, all the amp sides, you know, from the amp, all the amp sides of the volume controls need to be linked together. You can't come and daisy chain the next speaker to the amp input here, because then that first one, like I said, will control the,
For the
volume for
speaker,
everything.
you
down.
come out of this one, right? To connect the speakers, and then the other volume control will control that. Like, so they're two separate.
So yeah, so your speakers always have to come out of the speaker output to the first speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So say I have two speakers that are coming off this volume control, it's going to go speaker to the first speaker,
Then that.
then use
To
wire
the
nuts to connect
yeah.
this to the next speaker.
Yeah.
So those are your two. And if I wanted to add a volume control over here with another one, then I could jump off the amp
Yeah.
to the amp on that volume control, then out of the speaker output to whatever speaker's on that one.
Okay.
You know, and always paying attention to your watts, you know, what the speakers are tapped
Tapping.
at, and to make sure that, you know, you're under both here and here. So, you know, if this is a 120 watt amp, you know, I can't have, you know, 530 watt volume controls if, you know, I'm maxed out. So you can have more than 120 watts in volume controls. So I could have 5 100 watt volume controls linked to a 120 watt amp. But depending on what's connected to this, all 5 of these you need to add up to make sure that the speaker count themselves is not going to be over the 120 watts.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other issues I've been seeing in the field. Yeah, terminations is huge. Especially Cat 5, you know, that's just, people have a hard time with that. And I don't know, we'll go over some termination stuff, like I said, especially when we do the shielded stuff. Like with cameras, we get, you know, these Axis, those PoE cameras, and same thing. You know, if those Cat 5 heads aren't perfect, you know, you're not gonna get the power and the voltage you need to power the speakers or power the cameras. So, you know, all these things are definitely key. So. Anything else from the field, Rob?
I was trying to think of some stuff.
You know, trying to think of
Nothing I can
stuff,
think of off the top of my head.
And I feel like that first session about balance and stereo helped with a lot of issues.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's good. I mean, because even some of this stuff that I found was done prior to that time. So, I mean, hopefully people are, get the point. You know, that we shouldn't be doing things like that.
So what's your preference, between all the equipment to use balance lines if you can?
Always, yeah. So, and same thing, if I'm linking, so from now on, you know, if we are linking multiple crown amps together, we can use a balanced 1/4 inch to do it, you know, to go into the next one, make sure it's balanced, you know, that would be one option. The other option is if we're coming out of a drive rack, you know, we come out of the left channel of the drive rack into channel 1, and then, you know, extend this down to channel 1 of the next amp. We can do something like that. So you can use Y cables without resistors to split. So if you're taking one output to go into 2 inputs, you can use a Y cable without a resistor to split one output to 2. But if you're going to combine 2 inputs or two inputs to another one, then that's when you need the resistors to sum them together. Make sense? So splitting is okay without resistors. Combining, you need resistors. Or a summing box, one or the other. So.
Or a lot of times too, Justin, there's available channels in whatever audio processor that's being used. You know, you
It's true.
use 2 channels for their stereo input source.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, if we were, you know, if we had this guy, you know, even if we wanted to use the XLR, I wouldn't. I would use the 1/4 inch, but I would just make 2, and put 2 heads on it. The white in the ground and then the red in the ground, rather than trying to sew them together into one connection.
And in all digital natures, you can link the two channels together. So
Yeah,
within that-
yep.
within the board.
Yeah, with all the ones, yeah, you can. With the digital ones, you can do that. So that's really about it.